Man, let me tell you, I have a story for you guys today, so I hope that you're ready. Starting off with my e-commerce career was not a smooth or easy path. And I mean, like Fresh Prince said, this is a story of how my life got flipped upside down. All right, so let's get into the story and let's go ahead and jump right into it.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything.
Now, for those who do not know me, my name is AC Hampton, and I'm an 8-figure marketer where I help people test, build, and scale up profitable e-commerce businesses. Now, for those who do know me, you guys are probably asking me where I'm at right now. Like, why am I just sitting here at the edge of this corner? Well, this is actually my first apartment out here in Dallas, Texas. This is where I uprooted my life whenever I moved from Kansas City and I moved to Dallas, Texas all by myself. This was my first apartment complex. Now this place, boy, let me tell you guys, this is probably one of the worst places that I could have ever been. There was drive-bys, drug deals, and I mean, people try to get a come up around every single corner around here. And truthfully, this was one of the most discouraging points of my life. I just graduated college with a degree and I thought my life was going to change, and it did change, but just not the way that I thought it was going to. I originally was working a job that I got out here and I thought this ultimately was going to be the game changer in my life. I hated this job, I hated the position I was in, and I was wondering why I was living in a place like this with the degree that I had, with a job that was barely making me any money. To make the situation even worse, after a long day of work, I finally came home, and at this exact door itself, I ended up getting robbed and they crowbarred my door in. And I mean, I was literally robbed blind. After they crowbarred my door in, they stole everything outside my house. I mean, everything, from the canned food, from the bed sheets on my bed. They wiped out my home completely. And to make the situation even worse, I called my job that night and I was like, look, I don't think I can come into work tomorrow. I just got robbed. They literally took all of my clothes, so I don't even have clothes to come to work. And they were like, well, you still have to come. This made me realize that big corporations don't really care about you at all. I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm getting robbed, doesn't matter if I even got in a car accident earlier today, they didn't care. I had to come to work regardless. And I only worked at that job for around 4 months. So on November 24th, I actually quit this job, and I realized that there was just way more important things in life than being able to slave for somebody who did not even care about my well-being. But ultimately, this hard time that I was going through was ultimately a blessing from God, as this put me in a position to make one of the toughest decisions that I made in my life, and that was putting my all into e-commerce. All right, so fast forward, this was my second apartment that I moved into. I moved in here on May 2nd of 2019. For me, this was a perfect new time for a new mindset, new mentality, and a new fresh start after I was moving from just getting robbed. So whenever I moved in here to my second apartment, I was doing dropshipping full time. So this was my full-time job. Although of December 2018 at my last apartment, I did find my first winning product that generated over $100,000 in revenue, I was still lacking on the knowledge of knowing how to do product research. Because of this, I didn't find a winning product for around 4 to 5 more months. Whenever I moved in here, I had almost nothing working for me. So at this time of me being in here, I actually was in a course. This was a course that was on Facebook, that was a group course with all these different members inside of it. And honestly, there was no one-on-one help at all. So all that knowledge that you guys have now of going on YouTube and finding all these great dropshipping ideas and videos and knowledge, none of that was available whenever I first started off. And at this point, I was struggling. I didn't know if I made the right decision of not being able to have a real job like everybody wanted me to do. And at this point with e-commerce, I was struggling. So long story short, I was testing out all these different products. Nothing was working for me, so I was falling short on my income of what I had left, and I had to figure out something new to do. I mean, I was doing e-commerce religiously, long days, even longer nights, and after 23 days of living here, a crane fell on my apartment complex. Yes, so I'm telling you right now, it doesn't sound real, but this was 2 years ago, and look, they still have not even fixed the issue. So what I thought was bad before from getting robbed, this was an even worse situation to be in. So right after this happened, I went homeless. I mean, the second the crane hit, there was no home that I could go to. Red Cross ultimately had to step in and relocate us to this church across the street, and that's where I was going to live for the next 4 to 5 days.
One of the worst experiences ever, for real. Now we're just trying to recover from it, just like everyone else out here.
So at this point, I was testing out products still, and I was down to my last few dollars. And this made me realize that I had to slow down this process. It wasn't about just testing out a bunch of different products, but I needed to focus on product validation. And that's when that light bulb went off. And ultimately, that is when I found out the same product validation strategies that I use today. And ultimately, this helped me find out my second winning product of many going forward. So mind you guys, the crane fell on a Wednesday. So they relocated me to another hotel, had to get my mind right. And then Saturday morning, I woke up, opened up my laptop, and started looking all around on AdSpy for a different product to be able to start testing out with. And that's ultimately whenever I found the baby bed. This baby bed generated me over $1.9 million this same year from June to December, and you guys can check that out right here. So after testing this product for a couple of days, I already got to the point of hitting $1,000 consistently, and it was like almost right away. I honestly could not believe what I was seeing in my eyes, and even knowing that I just went through a whole entire crane falling on my building and just seeing where the position I was in an entire week later. And it's crazy to think, because whenever the crane originally hit, we all had to run outside the building, but I actually ran outside and I forgot my laptop, so I had to run back inside, even when the cops were telling me not to, even through the whole entire building almost collapsing, to grab my laptop so that I could be able to still continue to change my life. And it's honestly crazy to think, because by the end of that weekend, they ended up kicking us out of the hotel, and I was living in my car, living at this church across the street, and I was still changing my life at that same time, hitting $1,000 days, doubling that, tripling that, seeing 10x that. It's crazy to see how much your life can change when you're still being consistent even through the lows. And the craziest part about this is, in that news clip that you guys just saw, this is exactly where I was standing 2 years ago. It's the exact same place. I went through many trials and tribulations that made me want to give up, but ultimately my consistency helped me keep going. Going through things like this made me realize that you can make it through a lot more difficult situations than you can ever imagine. And in these tough situations, how you can continue to make great blessings that come from them. I went from homeless to being a millionaire with e-commerce in less than 4 years, and I've seen this happen with so many different people from so many different backgrounds in life, and that always gives me a motivation that I never want to stop helping you guys out any way possible and seeing you reach the highest potential that you can with e-commerce. I hope that this video continues to help you guys push through the obstacles that you're currently facing. And remember, nobody's going to want to see you succeed as bad as yourself, so keep pushing forward. I'll see you guys this Friday on my YouTube channel, where I'm dropping the top 10 winning products of October 2021 so that you guys can take action this Q4. And remember, stay consistent, stay strong, and I'll see you guys this Friday. This is AC, and I'm out.
They gon' want a piece when you got it like that. Like Jake said, we gon' spend it, get it right back. Stack that internet money till the site crash. They on IG tryna get a light back. See, they don't talk that talk.